Hello. Check one, two. Check, 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 check. I recorded episodes of Poets and Saints this morning, so the volume audio recorder was set differently. I just went on I smoked a little bit, and then I went on a long walk, and walking is such a meditation that there were a lot of things that I meditated on that made me want to come back here and record the next video vlog on Friday the 13th, 2026. I had a guy ask me for cash on my walk, and I thought I did have cash, and I pulled my wallet out, and it is empty. And he said, "Well, I have Cash App," and I was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" So cashed app him some funds for groceries for his family. Is a story I have to trust, and it made me. It was the first Cash App encounter that I've had out on the streets, and we have thought about that a lot at the church, of like how to get somebody who doesn't have the resources Cash App, because maybe they have a phone, but they also have to have a debit card, which is a bank account, which has to be tied to, and it's not as simple as just, hey, do you have a phone? Download Cash App, and we can give you some, or whatever it may be. Anyways, that happened on the way home. It's not really what I want to talk about, though. What I want to talk about are a few things. One, I just made progress on my Big Ass Truck video dance series. I'm doing. I told you I've already recorded this, but update that the first one I posted was Big Ass Truck movement research, which was a select 4 takes of the dance that I put together and published, and people gave feedback on that. I took that feedback and my own intuition, and I have been finalizing the choreography. And so I believe just now, right before I recorded this, I got a take of the final choreography that I can put together for the next video, which will be Big Ass Truck final choreography. And it came together beautifully, because this morning at the coffee shop, when I pulled in, there was a big ass Ford truck parked in the parking lot perfectly. Like, so perfect that I maybe should have just gone out there and done the video in front of the truck. But also, I feel like that may have felt too finalized. And so I'm going to do like I did with the first one, where I cut out this take and put it on the photo that I took of the truck in the parking lot. And then this one will be final choreography. And then the next one will be Big Ass Truck rehearsal. And then the final one will be Big Ass Truck at the Ford dealership. I wasn't really planning on doing a final choreography one. I was just making a final choreography to send to the people who will be rehearsing, but I think this is even better. I just thought, instead of getting together in one place to do the big ass truck rehearsal, is have people send videos of their big ass truck rehearsal. Yes, and then put them all together, either cutting everybody out or doing a grid. Cutting everybody out would be the ideal. Just have them film themselves, send me. Just thinking through some things on that. Another another thing that came up on the walk that I wanted to talk about is Lent. Trying to think of what the list is to see what I want to get into first, but maybe. Yeah, because I basically want to do a. I just saw this peak, I think. Um, basically, I want to do. I don't know why I'm worrying about that. Basically, I want to do a dry run, or possibly, or it's possibly a wet run. I am questioning the records behind me if this is the version for city church collaboration. So this may be more of a practice, or me talking through the first draft of the script, essentially. So I felt like for Lent this year that I needed to share with you what I'm doing for Lent, not as a look at me. I feel that I come to this decision of sharing this with fear and trembling, and I want to share it to give you an idea or a picture, and then you can take inspiration or ideas. Maybe it'll spark something in you that's unrelated. And I and my encouragement for you is just don't do everything I'm about to say. Just do whatever comes up in your heart. There is no comparison. We're all on our own spiritual journey, and we have to celebrate exactly where we are. And I'm not expecting anybody to be where I am. I believe that the Lord rejoices in the mere desire to want to participate in Lent. And I've been participating in Lent for quite a few years now, and it's grown and evolved to be a beautiful season in my life. Every year, 40 days of intentional fasting or giving up of things that are normally a part of my life so that I can make room for what God wants to do, how God wants to speak, and what God wants to do in the space that's created by the fast. And this year, I'm continuing some things that I have picked up in my participation of Lent that I find very fruitful for me specifically. And so fasting, fasting food, I am planning, I'm eating one meal a day. And even harder for me is I'm giving up soda and alcohol and basically just drinking water. Just for I do I am keeping a morning coffee because that is a spiritual practice in of itself. But I'm switching my normal sugary chai, dirty chai latte to black coffee for the 40 days. But so ultimately, a cup of black coffee and water only for the duration of Lent. No snacks. So I'm limited to, I fast one meal a day, and I can't replace that meal with snacks. These are just safeguards that I put in my life so that the work that the Lord wants to do can actually get done and I don't get in the way. I think that the listening, the pre-listening during Lent is important to feel what the Spirit is leading you into. And it's exciting now that I've been through many seasons of Lent. It's actually exciting to set these rules and parameters and feel where the Lord wants to begin to take me, and then surrendering and anticipating what the end of the 40 days looks like. But ultimately, all I am doing is hearing what the first day should look like and what habits I should keep for the rest of the 40. And in that regard, fasting these things. Oh, another thing that I'm fasting I think is important is I'm fasting YouTube. I don't find myself consuming a lot of shows or a lot of movies, but I do find myself consuming a lot of YouTube, and I will, and it does take, and it is something that takes space from other things. And in the season of making room, I want to make as much room as I can. So giving up YouTube is another thing that I have found a helpful reset in my life. So what I'm going to be replacing, the things that I feel that I'm making room for are a 1 hour sitting and stillness meditation, which is something that I have practiced for years, but recently have fallen off my own bandwagon and have not been doing it consistently. And I feel it. I feel excitement about the return, but that is a but that is just having a side thought on the next Reflections on Now podcast. And if this is ultimately the context that this should live, and if then it should be videoed. I've also wondered if we could video the podcast with a 360 cam, if that's something that would be worth it. Just a single camera sitting in the middle, if the quality and all that is usable. Well, anyways, back to what I'm making room for is sitting meditation. And if you have never practiced just being silent and still for a decided amount of time, whether it's 30 seconds or 30 minutes, a decided amount of time of I'm going to sit here and I'm going to focus on my breathing and I'm going to feel the sensation of my breath and I'm going to keep my attention on my breath attached to a prayer. And you could all, I'm editing, I'm just going to record this for the video vlog instead of trying to figure out exactly what I would say in whatever other context. Sitting in silence and stillness, focusing on your breath, and it's attached to a prayer. My prayer is more of a mantra, but it is the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control. And I will take a single breath, and within a single breath, in and out, it's pretty slow because I'm relaxed. I'm saying love throughout that. And then with the next breath, joy, and so on. And one of the practices that I do is whenever I get lost in a train of thought, so that may be love and I'm lost in a thought and I come back to love and then I make it to joy and then I'm lost in a thought and then I come back to love. And I try to make it from love all the way through to self-control without getting lost in thought. And it is nearly impossible, but it is doable. I've done it. I don't think I could do it today. And I hope that I can be close to doing that by the end of 40 days of daily 1 hour practice. Second thing I'm making room for is journaling. I'm in my journaling era, and I am a parameter I'm giving myself is to journal at least 1 page a day, and I have to fill the page, but I can do as many pages as I want. The only other rule is if a page is started, that page must be finished. So I have to write. It can't be 1.3 pages. It has to hit the end. The third thing I'm making room for is why this is set up, and is because after those two practices, at some point during that day, I have to record a 30-minute video journal, and publish all of those. The publishing, what, real time or publishing for a later date, I am leaning really heavily towards real time, is where my intuition is on this one. We'll see. I will. I'm holding that loosely for discernment. The other thing that I feel the Lord is making room for is creation. And instead of, I'm removing consumption from my evening. So if I feel whenever I feel that space, I have a library of books that there's no time limit on reading, and I can work on some personal art projects. And this first personal art project will be Cody Jensen at 37, my birthday video that I'm going to use my life archive to create the first cut of my end of life video. Ash to ash, dust to dust. I am going to die, and I am going to direct my own end of life video. And I'm getting started now because that is a huge project, and I'm going to make it a yearly project to update the life video, the life archive video. This is Cody Jensen at 37. Next year will be this Cody Jensen at 38. And I haven't finalized the title on that. That's one thing that actually what I just said was a new attempt. And it felt the most right so far, except for in its truthfulness of this is Cody Jensen at 37. This is actually Cody Jensen from 0 to 37. This is Cody Jensen from birth to 37. Cody Jensen from birth to 37. Yeah, that could work. This is Cody Jensen from birth to 38. This is Cody Jensen from birth to 39. The thumbnail could be a split screen of 1989, Baby, and then something from last year. Could be one of the fun photos I took of myself. So working on that. Uh, the other project that I'm working on is uh, a main channel YouTube series about this, my life archive. And I think that the first video in that series is This is Cody Jensen from Birth to 37. And the next video is starting a new project. I need your help. My life archive. I think that's the second video. It could be the first one. But I think it's the second one. That video will be me telling the story of this thing that I want to do, or telling the story of one, creating my life archive, and then what I want to do with it with CodyJensen.com and Vibe Coding, and telling them the ways they can help. And I believe I've already listed these, but this is my process. One, I have these things on the cloud and I have them on these hard drives, but I need to get a backup, and I would think I want to do a NAS server as the other copy, so that one, it's all together, and two, I have my personal archive on my own personal cloud, which would be awesome. And it may help, I don't know, with the vibe coding situation and getting everything onto the website. The other way that people can help is the very small group of people that potentially have a photo or a video of me at any certain period of time, sending those to me. But I don't know the best way for you to send them to me until I create at least the first version of CodyJensen.com, where you can easily upload content, but you have to request to be able to do that. The next one of the other, I don't know if it's the next video, but one of the videos in the series will be how to transfer your old tapes to YouTube. Then another one will be how to add your family photos to your camera roll. And then potentially one could be how I organize my home movies and photos. I think that'll be a good one. I think that one should be sponsored by the NAS server. And hopefully the first video or videos in the series will prove the concept enough to have a NAS server sponsor. Some other things that people could help with, if I do like you could sponsor a video. I will say I would like to get a NAS server set up to get another physical copy of this media, and create my own personal cloud. I have this cheap office chair that I found in my apartment trash, and it is serving me well, but I would like a more comfortable chair. That's a sponsorship opportunity. I eat Cook Unity every day, and that is a sponsorship opportunity. There's a free plug for you. I am going to be vibe coding this website, so any app in that process can also be a sponsor. Yeah, that's the ways that I can think of right now that brands can help out. People can help out with your knowledge. You can help me out with your knowledge because I am starting from scratch. I am essentially a noob in this situation. I have this project, I have this life archive, I have the idea and the taste of execution for what this idea should ultimately be, but I do not know how to code. And you do, potentially. And more importantly, you know how to give me advice for how to avoid the mistakes that everybody has to learn, but maybe you're willing to help me in that process and help me skip mistakes. I am thinking about using Claude Code, and that's basically where I'm at. Is I'm going to use Claude Code. What else? I'm going to use ChatGPT and Claude Code. That is what I'm thinking. Yeah, so what else? Like, that's the question. Tell me. Yeah, in the City Church video, which got us on this train, the plan would be just to speak more generally about what I'm making room for a set amount of prayer time, and I'm making room for a set amount of journaling time and a set amount of time for personal art projects that the Lord is leading me into. Yeah. Was there anything else that I was thinking about? I think in the meta, I'm in the middle of the fourth video in this pre-Lent series processing. One thing that is already apparent is I'm talking about the same thing every day, but every day gets updated, and that it illustrates my art process at work. That people are like, how long did that piece take you? And my my answer is, it spent a lot of time in my head, and it took a while to craft it into what I was going after. And then it took me 4 hours to make, uh, or whatever the time is. But, it's like, it took me 4 hours to make that. But it took weeks of daily processing of the information and listening and allowing past knowledge to intersect with current knowledge, to craft a novel idea, and you taking the space to have this process, and then having the intuition to know whenever it's ready to take 4 hours. And that's just, this isn't what I would say to anybody. I'm just speaking. And the decades of commitment to this vision that allows for it, in the same way that I could tell this idea to somebody who's spent decades coding and has gotten really, really, really good at vibe coding. They may be able to produce the end result in one day, one weekend, 1 week. It's but for me, it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a process. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error and mistakes. So that's why I want to open that up to experts to share their knowledge if they feel so inclined to. In the meta, did you see how just now we started like way up here, that we're in the fourth journal of this thing that's ultimately a piece of the life that's being lived. And then by the end of it, I was all the way to today. And this moment of how we're taking the babyest of steps in the grand, but it's a step today. So one thing that I want to do after I'm done with this video is see if the video takes I just did of Big Ass Truck are what I hope that they are, and they're that's the choreography finalized. I am skeptical of that because I don't feel like I got one clean take beginning to end that actually is the final choreography. There was one that, and maybe that should just be it, but there's one that almost everything was correct, but I did my left leg first and then my right leg in the end, and I do the horn with my right arm. And I prefer to end with left leg so that it's across the body whenever I come to the end, versus the same side of the body. It just feels less dynamic. And it depends on how you start this move of which kick goes first a few measures away. And so if you, and I haven't figured out exactly how to make sure that I always kick right first. So all that to say, that's why I don't know if the final choreography was captured today, but I hope it was, and I'm going to cut it out and make this video. I'm going to end this one here because the battery is about to die on there, and I don't think I have much more meaningful things to say in this video vlog today. So I'm just going to end it versus trying to get a new battery. See you later.